Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio. Here to record this week's show. And as always, I will tell you who's coming up on the show shortly. But first, it's good to be back in the studio after I don't want to say I took a week off. I took a week off behind the mic. I was not here last week. We did some time shifting, but I'm back here now and ready to rock, ready to record the show for Labor Day weekend. How did it get to be Labor Day weekend? Cliff, good morning. Cliff, you are always the first guy on here. I appreciate that. Craig is always right in here too. Good morning. How are you, buddy? Hey, I'm going to Linwood Beach this afternoon to meet Brad to shoot video of the prototype boat. It is now at Linwood Beach Marina. He's going to take it down to Freeway to get a motor hung on it as soon as we get through shooting the video. I should have that video posted hopefully tomorrow. Tim, good morning. Uncle Johnny, how you doing, buddy? Miss you guys, but I'm heading downstate earlier than what I thought, either this afternoon if I possibly can or tomorrow morning to pick up Denise. So she will be home for a few days. And I think during that few days, we should get together, if not even playing some golf. Joel, good morning. How are you? And also, Johnny, if you can, and if you still want to keep that September 5th date open for what I talked about earlier, that still should work out. Joel, good morning. Bruce, how are you? Hey, Ross, how you doing, buddy? Craig, how did Lance know the bait fish in open water were small perch? I have no idea because the guy is just, I don't know. They they broke the mold when they made Lance. Carl, good morning. Ross, I've been waiting to hear more from you. I just been so, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but it's so busy. So I do need to follow up with you, check in, see how your hunts went. Kathy, going kayak salmon fishing this weekend. How cool is that? Patrick, good morning. Nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. John, good morning. How are you? Looks like you're still continuing your fishing adventures. I enjoy following you online or talking with you in person at Jay's. It's nice. I was just thinking this is my first time back in the studio after the cataract surgery, and I don't need my cheater glasses. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. What I do need is John Dent to walk in here and take that fan and point it directly at me because it's going to be warm in here, even though the temperatures outside are cooler. The last 2 days were unbelievable, like an oven, weren't they? Now, I don't know where you are in the state, but I hope you have power. I hope everything is okay because that was a pretty interesting storm that came through yesterday afternoon. Brent, if I didn't say good morning, my friend. Michael, how are you? Nice to have you along with us. Well, right there, Tim says he's listening on his phone, waiting for the power to come back on. Tim, what part of the state are you in? Bernie, good morning. Do you have power at your place? John had his last week night kayak derby last night. Storm got through right before we fished. Um, yeah, it was, when it's that hot and that muggy and there's that kind of energy in the environment, in the world, in Mother Nature, something's going to blow up. But man, did it blow up. Tommy, good morning, buddy. How are you? Tim's in Skidway Lake. Okay. Andy, we survived. You're down around Lansing now, right, Andy? Yeah, it was a pretty good storm. Cliff, lost power in Rochester Hills, still off when you left for work this morning. Um, Birmingham, where my daughter and son-in-law and future new grandbaby, and my wife, are right now, is still without power. It went off about midnight. That's maybe why I make a trip downstate to pick her up, because the power's off. Hopefully, it'll come back on today, but I don't know down there. Bernie says power was out for only 2 hours. Took some of your branches, made it a mess in the air, nothing you haven't seen before. My son, Bernie, who lives just north of town, and he's not a he's not a guy to overreact. He's a pretty low key, pretty level headed guy. I mean, very level headed guy. He said that he swears they had a tornado go over the house. They lost some trees, and he said, "This is my son's talking." He said, "I heard the proverbial freight train." He said, "We actually went to the basement," and he's not a guy to overreact. If he says he heard a freight train and they went down to the basement for a few minutes, I am absolutely convinced that there was a tornado that went over their house. No doubt in my mind. Adam, good morning. Up salmon fishing in Grand Traverse Bay, storm stayed south of us. Good, Adam. Jesse, good morning. Checking in from Petoskey. Jim, how are you? Charlie, real quick, can you point that in here a little bit more, that fan, if you don't mind? Thank you. And I understand I'll be seeing you and John and you and John and you and John this morning. Thank you. Jay, good morning. All is well by the bridge, chasing Lakers last night. No weather up here. Hunter Joe, never lost power. Hunter Joe, where did I see a comment that you made on a post? Was it an MUCC post that you, where did I see it? It was you talking about hopefully they don't muck those up like they did the deer hunting regulations, but I don't remember where the post was, but I remember seeing a comment from you. There is a setting in here that is a new one that I want to see. Orientations are disabled while shift videos for comments. I clicked that, but it did not take place, or it didn't take effect. Because like this comment from Hunter Joe is a small comment, because I know you want to see my pretty face. But if I take this comment from Bernie, it covers the bottom of my pretty face. And I know you want to see my pretty face. Jim, good morning. How are you? My name is Mike Avery. This is a Wednesday night. No, it's not. It's Behind the Mic. I'm back here in the studio, and it feels good to be back in the studio. If this was yesterday, it would be good just to be in the air conditioning. How was it in here yesterday, John? Was it a sauna?
Yeah.
Or as our Yooper friends say, a sauna? John said it was a sauna in here yesterday. Jim, good morning. How are you? Bernie says he's headed to the golf course. Have a great day. My son James and I were on the golf course yesterday morning. We actually had an 8:00 tee time. We had to postpone it because of the storms in the morning. We got back out there at 10, and it was starting to bake by the time we finished. And you know what? Yesterday was one of those days I would have been better off just to stay home and not even go to the course. It was one of those days that was like, it just wasn't there, which was kind of disappointing because my previous round felt pretty good. I should have been fishing because Randy Iamurray, who is not on here now, who usually is, said they got into walleye in my skinny water. And I'm also hearing reports, pretty good reports of perch as well. Brad, good morning. Donnie May, how are you? How have you been? How's life? Nice to hear from you. Vaughn, also nice to have you along with us on this edition of Behind the Mic. I do appreciate it. Here behind the mic, actually, two microphones. My two, this one that I'm talking to you right now on, my social media mic. This one, my professional broadcast microphone, which is not cracked open, which is a broadcast term. We haven't cracked the mic yet. We're not on yet. Dave, good morning. How are you? Dave, remind me, were you able to make your reservations for Wednesday Night Live at the Lumberjack on the 18th, or did you say you had plans? Speaking of the 18th, we do have a Wednesday Night Live scheduled at the Lumberjack Restaurant, the Forward Corporation Lumberjack Restaurant in West Branch on the 18th. Call 989-343-0892 for reservations, 989-343-0892. If you don't get an answer, let it ring. Let the machine pick it up. Tell them your name, your phone number, and how many in your party. So far, we've got some guests signed up for the event. Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest will be there. Rich Krazan and his wife from Killer Food Plots. Steve Wyndham of MUCC. And the Taggart family of Rec Broadheads will be joining us as well. I'm just starting to put this together. Steve, good morning. Dave says the wife said you had plans. Dave says, my wife says we have plans that night. I'm with you, brother. I know how that goes. Jesse, been so busy this summer. Haven't been out fishing since the beginning of June. Jesse, when you're too busy to fish, you're too busy. End of story. When you are too busy to fish, you are too busy. But I hear you. I get completely what you're saying, Jesse. I can relate to that. I understand it. What about fall? Do you have any fall fishing plans set up, Jesse? And going back to you, Brent, have you been able to get that new boat out on the water yet? Bear pictures. Send me your bear pictures. I love bear pictures. I mean, I don't dislike pictures of trail camera pictures of deer, but I get really excited about trail camera pictures of bear. Johnny Bowler, the bear whisperer, has been sending me pictures. In fact, he sent me a picture not last night, but Monday night of a big, real nice bear on what I'm calling my bait because he's calling it my bait in broad daylight. Now, listen, we are about almost a month away or more from my season, the third season in the UP. Things can change, things will change. The weather will change, the bears' habits will change. They will know that they are being hunted. The hound hunters will be out there. The only thing I have going on my favor, two things. Johnny Bowler is an amazing bear guide, and he's got me tucked back away in private property, to be honest, near the Seney Wildlife Refuge that the hound hunters usually don't go into because they don't want their hounds to end up on the refuge. So I got that going for me. Craig says, my wife, Michelle, has plans too to be at the Lumberjack. Excellent. I will look forward to seeing you and Michelle, Craig. Always a pleasure. There's Randy right there. Randy, I was just saying that you were busting my chops the other day. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I'm losing track now. Randy, friend of mine, good fisherman, really good fisherman, has fished with me in my skinny water before. And he texted me to bust my chops because he had been out there and he said, man, I'm working hard, Mike, and I can't find fish. Then he texted me and said, guess what? Your skinny water's on fire. We're in there right now getting fish. To which I said, Randy, did you pay the tax? Did you get pre-authorization for being in there? And have fun, buddy. And Randy, I also heard I've been getting some pretty good reports of perch right in there too. Did you see any boats anchored up the other day? Jesse, my nephew joined Angler Club through his school here in Petoskey, and his teacher told me last night we have a fishing event coming up September 20th. Excellent. Have fun, Jesse. Okay. Let me tell you who's coming up on the Outdoor Magazine radio show this week, and that's why I'm here in the studio to record the show. I'm here with a new eye. I'm not even wearing cheaters, and I can see my screen in front of me very well. Modern medicine is a blessing. Coming up on the show this week, Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis is my first guest because there is a prototype Angler Quest at Linwood Beach Marina right now. I'm going up there as soon as I get done with the show and recording this month's Primal podcast. I'm heading to Linwood Beach Marina. I will shoot some video of that prototype. I will talk with Brad. I will post that video. Brad, by the way, will be at the Woods and Water show in Imlay City, not this weekend, but next weekend for their big outdoor weekend. Also there, Paul Perone of VersaSkins will be there, and Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley is going to be there. If you have not seen the Truck Trolley and you have a truck, check these things out. They're very, very cool. I took my truck trolley out of my truck because my lease wasn't up, but my miles were up. So I actually got myself a new truck yesterday. I stopped into the Garber Chevy, folks, great people. I didn't get a ZR2 this time. ZR2 is a great truck, but it's overkill for me. I don't need a ZR2. It just looks cool, and I got a good deal on it last time. This time I got myself a Trail Boss, a 2024 Trail Boss, a little different color. I still need to get the bigger tires put on it. I'm going to go see Mike at Mike's Tire Sales. And I'm going to go see the folks at Sign Image in Saginaw and have it all logoed up again. But more on that. Anyway, Brad Dupuis, 5 minutes. Thank you, John. Mr. Anglerquest, my first guest this week, then Michigan's meteorologist, Mark Torregrossa. I'm going to ask him the question that I've been asking you that nobody can answer. Why are the maples, some of them, turning so early this year? If 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 the amount of daylight is the primary determining factor on when the leaves change, why are the maples changing early? I will also get an outlook for the fall from him. Then Jason Garvin of the Michigan Wildlife Council, they had a meeting at Jay's last Friday. I wasn't able to be there. I was tied up on some other things. How did the meeting go? And how is the campaign to promote hunting and fishing in Michigan going? In hour number 2, Chad Stewart of the DNR. You may have seen Chad on Michigan Out of Doors last week. I want to talk with him about deer hunting this fall. Also, EHD has popped up in the southern part of the state. I'll talk with him more about that. I got a bunch of comments here I want to respond to, but let me finish the rundown for this week's show. After Chad Stewart comes Tom Campbell. Tom talking about the big outdoor weekend next weekend. Then this week's Ask Avery question from Jason Covington, a longtime listener from Indiana. He said, Mike, I heard you talk about bear hunting. I heard you reference the bear whisperer. He said, to be honest, I don't quite understand the sportsmanship and the ethics of hunting bears over bait. Can you explain? And I will. And Jason, I appreciate the question. It's an excellent question. In our third hour, and this is brought about by two things. I had somebody say, Mike, I'd love to hear from a commercial fisherman on your show. And then Todd Williams, a commercial fisherman of Bayport Fish Company in Bayport out in the Thumb on Saginaw Bay, got in touch with me and we were shooting the breeze. And I said, Todd, you want to be on the show to talk about commercial fishing? Some recreational anglers, some sport anglers don't like commercial fishing. I have much respect for commercial fishing, the history of it, and the guys who go out there and do it because they're hardworking people. But I don't agree with everything that commercial fishermen want to do these days. So it should be a good conversation. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. Let me go back to the comments. Sherry, good morning. Sherry says it's peaceful in Poseyville. How was it in Poseyville yesterday afternoon, Sherry? Kevin, Coyote Killing King, Rod, how are you, buddy? Jim, Cap, right back at you, buddy. Nice to have you along with us, Captain Jim. Jim, I'm enjoying your pictures. It looks like you've got some activity on your bait. Good luck to you. I'm excited for you. I can't wait for bear season. And if I remember correctly, Jim, your season starts early, like 11th, 15th. You'll be out there early. Jesse, normally we fish Crooked Lake, but we're going to fish Walloon that day. Haven't fished that lake since a kid. I've never fished Walloon Lake. It looks like a beautiful body of water. Jesse, have fun. Jim, again, good morning, Cap. It feels good, doesn't it, Jim, to have that captain's title in front of your name, to have that captain's card in your wallet? It is a good feeling. James, good morning. Hunter Joe says the trees can change early because of stress. Stress because, and I have heard this before, stress because of disease or drought. Mickey, good morning. My cousin Deb, good morning. Enjoying not needing cheaters. It is nice, Deb. I'm now, if I could just get rid of this floater that's hanging around in there, that's the next step. But yeah, I have one eye set for distance, one eye set for up close, and it's working out great. Dave, good morning. How are you? It was shaking yesterday in Poseyville. Craig, trees turned early if stressed, drought, heat, heavy rain, bugs, breaking down the chlorophyll, preparing for winter. Because I don't know about you, Craig, but I'm seeing and have seen, and a lot of the maples are turning red Maples usually turn a beautiful red. They're turning early. A sign of fall. 60 seconds. 60 seconds? John, I'm not ready. No, I am ready. All right. Oh my gosh. Yes, I do have headphones, John. Thank you for asking. I haven't been in the studio for a week. I forget an essential piece of gear. John, I'm going to ask you to plug these in for me, please. Isn't that funny? Oh my goodness. Thank you. Yes, I will need headphones to do the show. I'm not here for 1 week, and I forget. Okay, I got to set a timer too for 12 minutes. Probably about 10 seconds now, eh? 20. Oh, we got plenty of time. Time for me to take another drink of coffee, and the coffee is really good this morning. And it is starting to heat up in here, even though it's a cooler day. All right, my friends, I'm going to have to switch my focus from this to recording the radio show. 3, 2, 1, blast off. Okay, yes, my headphones are working. All right, thank you for the reminder, John. I do have to change my focus from behind the mic to recording the radio show. Feel free to stick around. I will talk about some of the same topics we've already touched on. But I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock with Amy Trotter of MUCC, one of your favorite Wednesday Night Live guests. She will be along to answer questions. Amy is just a wonderful person. Always enjoy our conversations. So you have a great day. I will be back tonight, 7 o'clock for Wednesday Night Live after making a trip to Linwood Beach to see the new Angler Quest. Have a good day, my friends. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations as we are here to do the Labor Day weekend edition of Outdoor Magazine Radio. The Labor Day edition. Again, I say, how did it get to be Labor Day already? But I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. By now, though, I do think a lot of people, I think myself included, are ready. We are ready to say goodbye to summer and welcome fall. Fall probably, I love summertime. I don't enjoy the hot, muggy weather. More on that in a minute. I do enjoy fall. I enjoy the cooler temps, the lower humidity, the changing leaves, the fall hunting season, the fall fishing. Fall, I think, is probably my favorite time of year. Fall is a wonderful time of year. So, and you know what? For a lot of people right now, we're basically in the fall mode anyway. Kids in a lot of parts of the state, kids and grandkids, have gone back to school. And we're making the mental leap from summertime to fall. But we've got one last blast of summer, and that is this weekend, this long Labor Day weekend. I hope you get a chance to get out and enjoy it. Now, the weather. Boy, last week, earlier, the weather was oppressive, muggy, hot, miserable. Pick your word. And then Mother Nature said, okay, I've had enough of the hot, muggy weather too. So I'm going to bring in, boom, storms, maybe a tornado, winds, and cooler temps. Thank you. Thank you. But it was an interesting day there earlier in the week, wasn't it? I am back in the studio now, the first time back in the studio after having cataract surgery. I'll tell you what, modern medicine is wonderful. Now, cataracts, right? That's an acknowledgement that I'm an old guy because I had cataract surgery. It's actually my second one. But I'm here in the studio now, not wearing cheaters. I can see my computer screen. I can see my keyboard. I can see John Dent, who's in here with me, perfectly in focus. So it's wonderful. And I'm enjoying my improved eyesight. Thank you, Dr. Graham. As I look at all the bear pictures that people are sending me, I love, first of all, I love trail camera pictures. Please send them to me. Share them with me. I love to see them. The best way, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Don't hesitate to send them. If for some reason it's a critter or an area you don't want to share or don't want to give details on, let me know. That's fine. I'm not going to give up your honey hole. But if you just want to share them, please send them to me, Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. I do love seeing deer pictures. Who doesn't love to see trail camera pictures of bucks in velvet? In fact, yesterday I was driving down the road, middle of the day, looked off to the right, boom, my eye caught this flash of brown where there shouldn't be brown. Okay, so I'm immediately like a laser beam with new eyes, right? Boom, focus in on that. I pass by the barn that is obscuring my view, and I see 4, maybe 5 bucks in velvet standing there looking right at me. Now, they weren't looking at me, they were looking at my direction, but I'd like to think they were looking right at me. Bachelor group of bucks in velvet. Beautiful. Midday. I thought, how cool is that? So I don't dislike seeing deer pictures. I love seeing deer pictures. I just don't have the passion for deer pictures that I do for bear pictures. And I've been getting a lot of trail cam pictures of bears, including from my buddy, Johnny Bowler, the bear whisperer, who keeps teasing me by sending me pictures of bears that are coming into a bait that I will likely be hunting this fall. He's also sending me pictures of wolves that are coming into his baits, but that's another story as well. So why do I not enjoy the deer pictures to the extent that I enjoy the bear pictures? I'm going to get off topic of where I intended to go, but my mind is taking me here. Why am I not as excited about deer hunting as I used to be? Because I can't embrace the culture of modern day deer hunting. I can embrace the culture of old school deer hunting, but I can't embrace the culture of modern day deer hunting. What do I mean by that? In many circles these days, your harvest is not valid, legitimate, or celebrated unless you have achieved several criteria, including you have to shoot the buck in a food plot that you have planted. It has to be a buck that you have trail camera pictures of. It has to be a buck that you have named to your hit list. It has to be a buck that you have passed on previous years. And you must have at least one set of sheds from that buck to prove that you are worthy of killing that buck. And it has to be, first and foremost, a mature buck. And if all of those steps, those hurdles aren't crossed, you shouldn't have taken the animal. I can't buy into it. I can't accept it. Now, if you want to, and I'm very serious about this, if that's the way you feel, God bless you. Honestly, have at it, enjoy it, and challenge yourself. But please don't look down on the rest of us who can't buy into it. You can't hold somebody responsible who only has a couple of weekends a year to hunt. You can't hold them to to your standards. So that's why I personally can't get that excited or as excited as I used to about deer hunting, but I can get excited about bear hunting. My Brenton 350 Legend. All I have to do now, the scope is mounted. That new scope is mounted. I just got to sight it in to get ready for my season coming up. The late season, which poses some challenges. Indeed, it does, but I'm ready. Oh, I had a very cool experience the other day. I realized that in today's world, eagles are so common that a lot of people, the younger people, don't get that excited about them anymore because you see them everywhere. I didn't see my first eagle till I was 30 years old. And going back here in history a little bit, we had a problem with DDT in the food chain, and it caused eagles to have soft shells on their eggs. So when the eagle sat on them, they would crack. Also crossed bills on the birds, so they couldn't feed. So we didn't see eagles for a long time. Then DDT kind of flushed its way, for the most part, out of the food chain. Mother Nature took over. She cleaned things up. The birds are healthy, and we see them everywhere. So I'm sitting on the back patio the other night. Now we have a pond right behind the house. It's not our pond. It's a neighborhood pond, but it's right in my backyard, so I get to enjoy it. So I'm sitting back there on a blessedly cool evening after doing a bunch of work, sitting there enjoying myself, possibly smoking a cigar. And I look out there and I see a flash of feathers come into the pond, which is not unusual. Birds come into the pond all the time, but I'm looking at that going, that wasn't a goose. That looked like a raptor, a bird of prey. So I'm staring that direction. A minute later, this bird takes off, and he's a fully mature, beautiful bald eagle. He's got something in his talons underneath him. Probably a fish, hopefully a goose, but it wasn't. And he flies away. White head, black bird. I'm thinking that was beautiful. And then he circles the house and he flies back over again. What a cool experience that was. Thank you, Mother Nature. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine Radio, a lot more to talk about, but I'm running out of time here. After the break, Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest. The prototype is done. By the time you hear this show, I have video of it. I've probably posted it online. It's a beautiful boat. Then Mark Torregrossa, Michigan's meteorologist, answering the question, why are the maples turning so early this year? Also, an outlook for the fall weather forecast. Then Jason Garvin of the Michigan Wildlife Council. How is the campaign going to protect and promote hunting and fishing in Michigan? In hour number 2, Chad Stewart of the DNR talking about fall deer hunting regulations. Also, EHD raising its head in southern Michigan. Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News talking about their big outdoor show coming up next weekend. This week's Ask Avery question, an interesting question about the ethics, the morals of hunting bear over bait. It's a great question. I'm happy to answer it. Then, commercial fisherman Todd Williams of the Bayport Fish Company. I've had people say, we want to hear you talk with a commercial fisherman. I'm happy to do that. And Todd has been in the commercial fishing industry for a long time. And of course, we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is mikeaveryoutdoors.com, and my email address is mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll take a break here. After we come back, Mr. Angler Quest, Brad Dupuis, and the prototype and the future of that company. It's pretty cool, and I love to see what's happening. What I wanted to talk about another time, but I will talk about later. I told you the mileage is up on was up on my old truck. So I got a new truck out here in the parking lot. Pretty exciting, pretty cool. They're not inexpensive these days. That's for sure. But you got to deal with good people, Garber Chevy. All right, my friends, have a great day. I will be back here tonight at 7:00 for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. I will be joined by MUCC Executive Director Amy Trotter. That's always a good conversation. I hope to see you then. In the meantime, have a great day.